First of all, my name's Lawton Higgs Sr. I'm a United Methodist Christian and a pastor, and I love Muslim people.
We love you too.
Yes, thank you.
Yes,
I hate y'all.
And so
He's ticklish.
I'm also respect Islam, and I deeply appreciate the Imam's history here and helping us understand the nature of peace and the great work the Prophet Muhammad did in the Middle East to destroy the tribal conflicts and war. Thank you for that very much. And I'm also committed to an ongoing dialogue. And I think all of us need to be committed to an ongoing dialogue with all of our Muslim brothers and sisters and continue that. And also, I am committed to partnering with Muslim people in the pursuit of human rights and peace for all people. I think that is a very significant work that we all have to do, and in light of the wonderful presentation that David has made for us, we understand the broader framework of what's going on here, and all of us who hold these views need to be holding hands, working together for human rights for all people. Red and yellow, black and white, all are precious in God's sight. The poor, all the marginalized, the excluded workers, for us to join hands and to work diligently to accomplish human rights for all of those communities of people. And I would like to also talk about my own position in the Christian faith. They're broad and diverse Christians and a whole spectrum of attitudes and commitments and work and an understanding of religious life. But I am passionately in love with God. Right? And I'm also passionately in love with Jesus. And connect with his great work and the work he calls me to do with my faith and life. And I am in a tradition of some very identifiable Christians that are quite different from the many other traditions of Christianity. I'm in the tradition of St. Francis of Assisi. I'm in the tradition of Meister Eckhart, who was actually excommunicated and has never been brought back to the Christian faith, but I think one of the greatest Christians that the world has ever known. I am in the tradition of John Wesley and Richard Allen, the founder of the AME Church. I'm in the tradition of Howard Thurman and his great work. I'm in the tradition of Fred Shuttlesworth and Martin Luther King Jr. Now, that is a rich tradition which I honor, which I participate in, and which I claim with great joy and thanksgiving, and have the wonderful privilege to serve in. I want to remind us of some of the statements of these traditions as Christian people, and the tradition of which I am a part, out of which I love Muslim people, and I love Jewish people, and I love Hindu people, and I love Buddhist people, and I love anybody born of a woman, because they're created in the image and likeness of God, right? Yes, sir. Yeah, thanks be to God for such a wonderful gift. Fred Shuttlesworth, whom we had the privilege to be with the other night, had two basic commitments. And his first commitment was, there are no second-class human beings. Everybody's somebody. And his second commitment was with the Alabama Christian Movement for Human Rights, which he began in the 50s, after his encounter with the whole human rights movement of the United Nations. He said, it's our first responsibility to defend the human and civil rights of every person born of a woman. And what a joy it was to be with this group honoring him for the Fannie Lou Hamer Award the other night at 16th Street Baptist Church. And then, of course, Martin Luther King Jr. called us all to be maladjusted people. And it would be maladjusted people that would change the world. And he said we'd be maladjusted in 4 things. Never adjusted to segregation or discrimination based on race or class or religion. Never adjusted to religious hatred. Never adjusted to economic systems which take from the poor and give to the rich. And never adjusted to the self-defeating effects of militarism and physical violence. And so that's where I stand. And I think it's important that we all know where we stand and the work that we do. And I am not ashamed of the biblical expressions of love. Matter of fact, I am proud to be a person of love in the tradition of John Wesley and Martin Luther King Jr. John Wesley defined love, and as King says so many places, love is not emotional bosh. It's not about feelings or this or that or the other. He said love is a healing, understanding, reconciling goodwill that works and suffers for life for all people. Wow. And what great love he had and demonstrated. And of course he got that love from his encounter and faith engagement with Jesus and with the God who created the universe. And then John Wesley defined love as an inflamed, passionate desire. I believe our leaders here at the conference talk today about the feeling, getting high on freedom. All right? Getting high on freedom for everybody, right? An inflamed, passionate desire to remove evil, misery, and suffering from every person born of a woman, and to procure every possible good, physical, mental, and spiritual, for every person born of a woman. Now that's where I stand, all right? And what a wonderful place to be. And I thank God for Birmingham, Alabama. I thank God for Fred Shuttlesworth, who taught me these things. I thank God for the beloved community here in Birmingham that is still surviving and of which we're a part of, that Martin King established with these maladjusted commitments. And I'm grateful for that. And so our topic today, I just say it's part of, and I love Muslims now. And I love black folks. I love Jews, all right? And I love atheists. And I love agnostics. I often say, somebody tell me they don't believe in God. I say, what God is it you don't believe in? You tell me about that, and I'll tell you that I probably don't believe in that one either. All right? We got to know where we are. And we believe in the God of justice and peace, right? Yeah, thanks be to God. So, but our topic is causes and remedies. So I want to talk a few minutes about causes of Islamophobia as I see it, and also anti-Semitism, and also the discrimination and hatred of African heritage people. And I'd like to coin a word today, and that word is faithism. Faithism. Which has its roots in religious supremacy. And like its brother racism and white supremacy is a system of domination, violence, exclusion, and greed. Faithism. And faithism is used to define people as non-human, not on the basis of skin color, but on the basis of religious opinions or practices. In other words, if you have a religion of opinion and not a religion of love, you're going to use your opinions, if you're caught up in faithism, to define other religious groups or other racial groups as less than human, then you can put a boundary around your moral code and say, well, they're not human, so it's okay for me to enslave them, to detain them, to terrorize them, to kill them. And and you combine that with what, David has mentioned to us already, with the history of racism in this country. So you take faithism and racism and you square that, then you get Islamophobia, which is devastating and absolutely unacceptable in any religious understanding or understanding of law. And the things that the Imam shared with us about his experience and his wife's experience are things that should not happen to human beings in any context or any way. So, faithism is a powerful expression of empire. In other words, empires use faithism to co-opt people of faith to support a particular empire and to justify violence and brutality toward other people. And so faithism then creates fear. You define somebody as less than human, and are taught to be afraid of them because they're not human. They're not like us. They're not human. So you got to control them and segregate them and abuse them. And then when that happens, you begin to build this whole mentality of hatred. And it's a devastating impact on human beings. It's a devastating impact on the creation, because when you use faith to support empire and you have a faithism, then it's okay to exploit not only people you exclude, but it's okay to exploit the creation and to destroy the very sources of life that we all depend on and live in. And so that's what I see as one of the primary causes, is this faithism. Develop a expression of faith that's dependent on opinion and practice, that declares itself supreme, the only, and that uses that to define other people as less than human, and then to participate in the exclusion and domination and utilization of that community to satisfy our own greed. It's a form of devastating idolatry that we need to eliminate. So what is the remedy? How do we remedy this devastating reality?